It's time to take off your clothes, enjoy clothes-free living, and join us for Naked, Nudists, and Naturists.
Welcome to Naked, Nudists, and Naturists, the show that celebrates clothes-free living for all. I'm your host, Frank Stone.
And I'm your correspondent, Lisa Monroe, and I'll be reporting on all things within the naturist community. So it's time to get naked and join us.
And enjoy clothes-free living on Naked, Nudists, and Naturists. Well, greetings and welcome into Naked, Nudists, and Naturists, episode 63 today. We are the official podcast of the American Association for Nude Recreation. Go to AANR.com and become a member today. Naked, Nudists, and Naturists, episode 63. And now let's get to my brief interview with Chris from Mudwalkers. We are headed up a little bit to the state of Louisiana. We're going to talk to Chris today. You might have seen him. He goes by the name Chris. He also has a show called Mudwalkers. It's all over the place. Vimeo, YouTube. He has a big presence on Twitter and Instagram and some other places. He works for Clothes Free International, CFI, one of their nude reporters over there. Let's bring him to the show this morning from Louisiana. Chris, good morning, Chris. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing excellent, Frank. It's good to see you. My thesis is that the Bible doesn't actually condemn nudism. If you read it right, it actually just doesn't say anything about it. Well, nothing condemning. It's a complicated web of things over the last 2,000 years. Christian history is very complicated. The Christian standards of modesty have actually fluctuated really, really wildly over the years, including the last 100 years. One of the main influences that we're dealing with right now came in very early in Christianity, and it was called Gnosticism. The Christian idea that the body is necessarily evil by its nature and that it has to be guarded against comes from very, very ancient Greek and Persian thought that got combined together to turn into Gnosticism. Christians started to like Gnosticism kind of in the 4th and 5th centuries CE. That kind of made its way into Christianity, even though that idea is not really biblical. Christians started incorporating that philosophically, and then later on it was kind of retrojected into Scripture when it's not actually there.
Well, Chris, been great to talk to you. Keep up the great work you're doing on your own, Christianity/Naturism, also with CFI, and go out there and have a terrific clothes-free day. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks. Good talking to you, Frank.
You bet. Thank you. Well, you are listening to Naked, Nudists, and Naturists, episode 63 today. Glad you are with us. And I don't know about you, but I've been hearing some music. It sounds like music sneaking in below us. Can you hear it? Just listen carefully. Yeah, there it is. You know what? That can only mean one thing. And that means it's time for the great, the terrific, the completely over-the-top and clothes-free and fully smiling, our naturism correspondent, Lisa Monroe.
Social nudity to me is well, I guess it could have a lot of connotations. To me, it is social naturism. It is, being free to, meet with people, to be clothes free, to enjoy nature, to enjoy the environment, to enjoy the community of other people. I look at it as that congregation of like-minded people who are there for one reason, and that's to enjoy the freedom that they get from being clothes free.
With that, we have to head for the hills today. Again, check it out, Anna West, written by Gary Holden. And Lisa Monroe, do you promise to stay extra beyond belief clothes-free during this next week?
I most certainly do, if you also agree.
All right. I think we have an agreement. Okay. We don't even need to put that in writing. We trust each other. You'll do it, I'll do it, and life will be great. How about that?
That'll be fine.
All right. Our naturism correspondent, Lisa Monroe. Lisa, go have a clothes-free week. We'll see you next time.
You too, Frank. Take care. Bye.
You too. Bye. You are listening to Naked, Nudists, and Naturists, episode 63 today. Thank you for being with us. And now let's get to part one of my interview with KEIGHT LEIGHN. Easy Abby works with Tim Chismer on Naked and Not Afraid, does it all in the field of acting and comedy. The terrific KEIGHT LEIGHN. So Tim calls you up and says, hey, you want to fly out here and do a series of shows? And I'm guessing he told you up front, you're not going to have any clothes on. Was that a big deal, as an actress? Because I guess I should ask this, and I know the answer because we talked off air. You're not really a naturist, nudist, clothes-free living person 24/7, right?
No. Yeah. It's like I'm not uncomfortable or support, and I definitely support. And as Tim was explaining, I didn't really know much about, you know, the kind of the movement of it or the community until that Tim did call me up. I don't think in that first phone call, quite honestly, and he might forget this, but quite honestly, I do remember that phone call, and I remember him saying nothing about having clothes off. I think he might have forgotten, like, just because he thought like it's something so obvious to say, or like I'm not sure. But then he like, as we were like figuring out the details, he told me, and I was like, I'm gonna go for it. I really do have a very significant memory. And this was interesting as Tim was like showing me the community a bit more. I was like, oh yeah, I remember that, like, was definitely like a low-key traumatic moment, like where I used to think I was such a tomboy, and I thought it was so cool, like all the cool boys that I saw on the cool shows, they had like jeans and no shirt on, and I loved that look. Like I just felt so cool, and like I loved running around with jeans and no shirt.
The very terrific KEIGHT LEIGHN, she does it all. She's an actress, she's a comedian, she helps on Tim Chismar's TV show, Naked and Not Afraid. She's also an acting teacher, just does it all in the field of acting. And on next week's show, episode 64, part 2 of my interview with KEIGHT LEIGHN. Well, you've been listening to Naked, Nudists, and Naturists, episode 63 today. We give you a brand new show every Saturday morning at 6 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time. Continue to join us. Check us out on our website, nakednudistandnaturist.com, Spotify, Google, Amazon/Audible, Apple Podcasts, and also on Twitter. You can write us anywhere, anytime, any place. And we thank you for being with us today. Plan to join us for every single one of our shows here and have your clothes off when you're listening. We have our clothes off when we're broadcasting, enjoying the naturist life.
We celebrate clothes-free living for all. Remember to enjoy being naked and join us again for Naked, Nudists, and Naturists.
We drop a brand new show every Saturday morning, so come back and join us. Have your clothes off when you do for Naked, Nudists, and Naturists. Have a great clothes-free day.